Hi, welcome to this introduction to Apphive. In this video, I'm going to explain the basics when you're creating an application using Apphive. The first thing is understand the concept of projects. A project is a group of applications that share the same database. An example of this is a project for WooCommerce app. If you create a project for applications connected for WooCommerce, is an application for e-commerce, maybe you will need an application for the customer and application for the administrator. Both applications are part of the same project. It means that both applications will share the same database. It is very useful to share data between applications, especially if you are saving orders or any other data and you are going to check from the admin and save from the customer. Both applications can be connected to send notifications between each other, create users, or get the users from the other application. Click on the app to open the editor. You can edit the screens you want to add in your application. Click on Add a new screen, and you will see the screen on the central space. On the left, you have your screens of your application, and you can change between these screens. You can select the main page for your application. This is the page that will be loaded every time that you close the application and reopen, and you can redirect the user to another screen depending on the functions you add to this screen. Also, you have the control tree. Is another way to explore the controls in your application, and you can search this control also by name. On the central screen, you have 3 tabs with 3 different functions. The first one is to change the style. It depends on the control you select. If I select this container, I will see the options to change the style of this container. Add the background image, borders, radius, border style, width, and height. That can be in pixels or in percentage. Also, auto hide layout direction, scroll margins, inner margins, outer margins, shadows, and these options will change depending on the control is selected. And also, if you select the page, you will see the style of the page, the margins or the background. The second tab is for configurations in your controls. Also depends of which is the selected control. Can be used for enable or disable the left menu, the top navigation bar, the bottom menu sheet. Avoid keyboard. It means to change the control's position depending if the keyboard is open or closed in the phone. And also the page input data, which are the variables that can be used in this page. We are going to explain in another video how the variables can be used to store information on the page. Also, we have these, which are another kind of variables can be used to store data when the application is running. But we are going to explain in another video. Finally, we have the functions tab. In this tab, all the functions start with an event, and the event is called for different reasons, depend on the control. For example, if I have a container, we have other events here. The event on price, when I press the control on reach end. If I have a list and I scroll on refresh, when I pull down the container to refresh on scroll begin, and then I'm scrolling in a container, and on long press when I keep pressing the control for some seconds. Once you have a new event, you can start adding different functions to each of the elements. You can start adding functions to your button. For example, if you want to add login with Facebook, just search for this function. You can select directly on this menu, or you can search in the search option. When you press this container, this function will hold. Also, you can add a description for each of these functions if you want to remember what is this function about. You have different callbacks depending on the function. For example, here I have a function for Facebook login, and I have a callback when I get an error after login. Maybe I don't have internet or something failed when I try to log in using Facebook. When it is canceled, there is another callback. If I open the window to create a new session and I close it, so the cancel is called. And finally, if was successful, the login with Facebook, success callback will be called. Each time a function is executed, I can add a new function on this. For example, after a successful login, I can use a navigation function to redirect the user to another page. We have different kind of navigation. A push screen is a stack of screens. It means that we are adding a new screen in my stack. It's a good option when I plan to go back from this screen. For example, if I have a list of products and I plan to go back to the list after go to the product detail using return to last screen. So if I use push screen, I can use return to last screen to go back to the previous screen. Also, I can use replace top page if I have a stack of screens and I want to replace just the top screen. Finally, replace screen will clean all the stack and add a new screen. This is good, for example, for a login because I don't plan to back to this screen. For all the navigation functions, I need to select the page I'm going to redirect the user, and I can select the transition and the speed of this transition. I'm going to add a new screen for login. I'm going to add the event on press. When I press the signing button, I change the name of the controls. On the second tab, I have the control name for every control, and it will make it easy to identify each control when I am using this control to add functions. For example, this control has the email name, and this control has the password name. When I'm going to add a new function, I can use this control and the function as an entry bar. Let's see an example. I'm going to create a login function using an email and a password. I have my email, which is a field here, and also I have the password. If I want to receive the input value I have in the email address field, I want to read this information and send this information to my login function. I only need to click here on this button, and I'm going to see this window with all the available and entry bars. There are different kinds of entry bars. I can write this text directly, or I can use booleans for true or false. Timestamp to know the current timestamp, a unique ID generated automatically. We're going to use the second tab that is to get information from the controls we have on our page. As you can see here, you have the tree view of all the controls I have on the page. This container refers to the main container. This icon refers to this icon. It's exactly the same tree I have here for the page. I have this container which refers to this inside different containers. So I can search here for the control I'm looking for. In this case, I'm looking for the email control. So I'm going to choose the email, and I have the property I'm going to read from this control. In this case, I am reading the value of this input field. So I'm reading the value. I am sending the value to my function. The second is the password. The same, I click on controls and search for the control callbacks in the same way you have in the Facebook login. You have error login, invalid credentials, or successful login. You can send an alert with the send alert function in case of invalid credentials. In the title, error, and in the subtitle, invalid credentials. And also, you can copy and paste these functions. Error, I am sending the error login, the invalid credentials alert, and if it was a successful login, I'm going to replace the screen and send the user to an other page. I can select an animation to make that. Okay, so we have our login page. Now we can test this screen right now, but we don't have any account yet. We can create a sign up page with email and password. So we can search for a page. For example, we have sign up page here. Have this sign up page. We are going to add the on-press event when I press this control, and I'm going to add the sign up function. It has more entry bars that we can use for email, name, and password. But as you can see, we have the password twice to verify that the user write the correct password. So before the sign up function, I'm going to add a conditional, because we're going to compare the password and the password again. You can see here the names of these fields. Okay, so we're going to compare the password value, the value of this control, with the password again, which is the second field for confirmation. And we have different logical comparisons if they are exactly the same. If they enter the password, the same password in both fields. If it's true, it means they write the same password in both fields. If it is false, I'm going to send an alert. Error doesn't match. Okay. And if it's true, I'm going to add the sign up function. The sign function, in the same way, searching for the email field word, I'm going to read the password. Doesn't matter which of these passwords, because both are the same. I can copy with Control C and paste with Control V, and we can have a field for the name. If you don't see all the fields, you can change the style of the container to add a vertical scroll, so you will see all the fields here. But I'm going to delete this, and you can see all the fields at the same time. I'm going to rename this as name. I can change many of the controls use with double click, and I can change, for example, this one. I can add the name here. And that's all. Doesn't matter if I don't have phone, I can ask for the phone also. And after sign up, if the sign up was success, I can redirect the user to page. It's important to know that after a successful sign up, the user is already signed in the applications. If the email already exists, I can send an alert as an error. User already exists. And copy this function to add another error alert after a successful sign up. I'm going to redirect this user to this page. I'm going to add text for phone. I'm going to add a button just for log out. And press this button. I'm going to log out the user. On successful logout, I can redirect the user to replace the screen again for the social login. If there is an error, I can send an alert error and log out. And then we can add the option for email login. And when you press this text, they are going to send the user to the sign-in screen. Okay. To preview the application you are creating, you can preview in real time what you are creating here in the browser or in mobile application. Just click here. If you scan the code with your phone, you can download the application for Android to preview the application. Or if you click on launch, you have the web preview. Right now, I have the sign up first page. So I can fill name and email and add the password again. I'm going to write the second password different. When I click here, I receive the error, the password doesn't match. If I write this password correct, I click on sign up and I am redirected to the home screen. If I click on logout, I am redirected to the social login. If I click on signing with Facebook, I am redirected to the home screen after signing. If I click on login with email, I can also log in on this screen. So that's the basics of the functions. If you want to learn more, follow us on our different social networks, follow us on YouTube. We are uploading many tutorials. If you have any doubt, you can click on the chat we have on the editor, and also join us on the community.apphive.io, so that you can ask and we can help you with the applications you are creating. See you the next time. Bye.